Hi there everyone, this is Solo Player and I thought that I would create a video for new players for the Vulcan Verse made by Vulcan Forged because it was quite a daunting task for me to figure out how everything works when I started, and I can see that some people are also struggling to get involved and to get started. So I'm going to try and explain this as much as possible. A lot of the interface has changed, a lot of the UX UI has changed. So I'm hoping that some of the options that I'm going to explain will be there. So please bear with me. All right, so when you go to vulcanforge.com, you create an account and you can join for free. Once you have created an account, it is important to go to your profile. Now, in your profile, there should be a place for you to choose your free companion. So everyone gets a free companion. It's a level 0, if I'm not mistaken, and there are 4 different choices that you can make for your companion. Now, I've already chosen my companion, so I'm not quite sure what it would look like today, or even in the future, but this should be the place where you are able to then choose your companion. When you've chosen your companion, you will start off having less attack and defense and all of these stats. With time, when you get more and more XP, you'll be able to upgrade your attack, defense, and so forth of your companion. But this is so important to have. You need to have a companion to start playing the game. When you've set up your account and you've got your companion, then you can go to vv.vulcanforce.com and you download the game. You will then download a launcher, which will then be able to give you all the different games that Vulcan Forged has available. You click on Vulcan Verse and then you install it. It will take approximately 33 gigabytes. Now, once you've installed it, you click play, and then you can start going into the game. Now, when you're in the game, you put in the email address that you have created your account with, and then you also put in your password. Once you've done that, you're able to do a little bit of customization. There's not a lot of customization at this point with your character. And then you'll notice that you will also need a plot. Now, this is a step that I forgot to show. Let me just quickly go and show that particular part. So there's 2 things that you need. You're going to need a companion and you're going to need a plot. So for the plot, you go here by the marketplace drop down. Now, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce this. I'm not sure if it's a Kedalian or a Sedalian, so I apologize if I'm butchering that word. Let's just say it's Sedalian, just for the way that I would pronounce it, right? So you go to explore. And you're able to rent lands and Vulcanites, which is your companion basically. But your companion is your level 0, the Vulcanites are high level 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So when you get a high level, you're able to rent these out. But let's focus on the lands. It is important to look for a land, and even on the Discord, to go and ask if you can join someone's land for free. It shouldn't cost you at this stage any prior to go into the land and to rent it. Most of them should be for free, and you should be able to get into a particular land for free. So if you like this particular land and this plot, you can see that there's no password, so then you're able to join this land for the next 66 days. Another thing to note is for instance, this lava share. So lava is a different currency. It's the in-game currency that you're able to earn through the XP that you get, and you're able to convert the lava into pyre. That's a different video. This is now just to get started in the game. So You've gone, you found the land that you want or the plot that you want to join. You see that it doesn't cost anything, it's not password protected, there's currently no one on this particular one, and it's a 50-50% share. You would say join the land, you would get into the land, and it will be then linked to your account. So then you'll be able to select the plot that you have just rented. All right, now we can go into the game. So just that first part took me about 2 or 3 days to understand and to figure out how that all works. Now we're getting into the game itself. So remember that this game is still in its very early stages. If I'm not mistaken, it's still in an alpha stage, the beta stage, so the look and feel and everything is not quite what it's going to be at the end. They're still developing, and there's not a lot of features yet, but there's definitely enough for one to get started. So the first important thing is to press M to open up your map. And it's very important to get used to this map and understand how this map works and where you are in relation to this map. Because you have to go to certain landmarks on this map to get extra XP. And I will show you and explain to you where these landmarks are. So here in the bottom right corner, we've got the Desert of Notice. So this is the area that we are at. It's the desert area. Just above the desert area, it's the Gardens of Arcadia. So it's a nice green, luscious type of environment, which we'll show just now. Then the mountains of Boreas, which is more of a snowy plain. And then at the bottom, which is one of my favorite, is the Underworld of Hades, which is a little bit more of a horror hell type of theme. So it's a lot more black and reddish type of colors. And there's a volcano, but I'll also show you that. In the middle, we've got Vulcan City. So technically, there are 5 different areas that you need to get acquainted with. All right, so now we've got an idea of the map. So the first thing that you need to do is to go here to your Vulcanite menu and make sure that the Vulcanite that you have or your companion that you have is out. So you press that plus button to make sure that they're out. So I've got the Fey Fox. And if I use my right mouse button, I'm able to move around. I can also hold in my right mouse button and use my wheel of my mouse to zoom out and to get into this third person view. And there's my little fox. And this is the plot that is assigned to me. So the first thing we're going to do now is click on this button. And I apologize if I'm going to butcher this word. I'm going to call it Forage. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, but I'm just going to call it Forage. All right. So I press it. Now you see that all of these diamonds popped up. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see these diamonds. So if I press this 2 again, it's going to disappear. So this is one of the main things that you're going to do in Vulcan Verse. So if I highlight over that, you'll see it becomes green. And then I left mouse click on it, and now my companion that I have will then go and, let's say, harvest that crystal. So it's going to move around, it's going to harvest in this particular area, and what it's going to do is it's going to get a certain resource. So every single plot of land has different types of resources. Okay, so that's one of the first things that we need to do. When I press J, it opens up a quest box. So on a Monday, every Monday of the week, it resets. So all of these quests are available for the week to complete, and there are also daily quests that pop up. So we can see here in Arcadia, it's got 2, and Hades has got 2, so that's where the daily quests are going to be. So when I open it up, I can quickly have a look at what the daily quest is. Visit Harpy's Nest. So I'm going to accept. And when I accept, it's going to give that icon over there so that I know that this quest has been accepted. A thirst for blood. So I need to fight any other Vulcanite 5 times. I'm going to accept it. Baubles for the Queen. So this is a resource that you need to go and harvest. So I already have some available, so I'm able to complete that one immediately, and then I've got an XP. So for all the XP that you get, I can't remember the exact amount, but it also depends on how many people are. And this is, I just harvested the crystal and the pebble, and I also got some experience. So you get a certain amount of XP that you're able to get, and from that XP, you also get lava, which is the in-game currency, which you could also exchange for real life money. But let's just quickly accept all of these different quests. I like to do this on a Monday to make sure that all of the quests are running, because most of them is about fighting. It's about visiting specific landmarks and getting certain resources. So depending on where you start, there are specific routes that people will run to kind of optimize all the different landmarks, because you get bonus XP for going to the landmarks. So my route, for instance, a potential optimized way would be if you go and see these red, sort of reddish pinkish color. That is one of the landmarks. That's a pyramid. There's another pyramid, and there's another pyramid. So I know that I have to go to that pyramid, run to that pyramid, run to that pyramid, and then I end off over here, which is the shrine. So there are 4 different landmarks here in Notice. And then I move over to Arcadia. When I get to Arcadia, I need to get to the wineries. From the wineries, move here to the woodlands. From the woodlands, move to the Druid Shrine. From the Druid Shrine, move to the Summer Palace. And from the Summer Palace to the Deep Forest. So there are also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different landmarks to go there. When I move over into Boreas, I go to the lair. From the lair, I walk to the Fortress of the Wind. From the Fortress of the Wind to Harpy's Nest, and then from the Harpy's Nest, I go over here to the Minotaur Labyrinth. From there, I would go into Vulcan City. Vulcan City, there is a trade quest that you can do to get extra XP, and Vulcan City is the only place where you can trade with other players to get that particular XP. So I would go in there and go out into Hades. When I get into Hades, the landmarks would be to go here to the Palace of the Dead, close by the Necropolis, and then go over this river to go into this volcano, which is also called the Plains of the Howling Darkness. Once you've done that, there are 16 different landmarks that you go. You get extra bonus XP for harvesting in every single quadrant. You get bonus XP for having fights with other companions or other Vulcanites, which I'll show you just now how that looks like in every single quadrant. So there are many different ways to get XP. You can also get XP by playing the other games. So one of the tactics that people are doing is playing Berserk, which is almost like a Hearthstone type of game. It's a card game that you play, and you also get XP from playing it, even if you lose. But you also get quite a nice lump of XP if you do win. All right, so let's start to get going. I'm just going to show you what my daily routine would look like. And here to the right, you can see here are all the different quests that I have accepted. So I like to go and harvest whilst I'm running. And if you press in Shift, you can see Shift is a button which makes you run faster. So there's the one pyramid that I need to go to. So I've already got an idea of where I need to head. In the beginning, you're going to have to look at your map quite often to know which direction you need to go to make sure that you go to the right landmark. I'm sorry if I'm going to be a little bit quiet every now and again. It might be a bit awkward in the video. I don't necessarily have a lot of things to say. In person, I'm actually quite a introverted person, so I'll try and give as much commentary as what I can whilst I'm going through this process. This process, if you don't really do any fighting or any trading, should take about 27 to 30 minutes or so to do this run. What takes a bit of time is looking for players to fight, because you have to fight other Vulcanites. Not everyone is necessarily available to fight, and you don't necessarily, especially when you start off, you don't have a very strong companion or Vulcanite to help you fight. So you don't necessarily win that easily in the beginning. And you'll see that some of the quests you have to win fights. So here I've already gotten some more XP. So because of that, I know that I can go and harvest. And then I'll just quickly go and harvest whilst I'm running. I also know that in this area over here is a hotspot for people to harvest high level materials. So every plot has different types of materials, and some materials are worth a lot more. So I know that this particular plot is very, what's the word? It's used a lot. So a lot of people like to come here and get the high level stuff. So sometimes you're able to fight people because there's a high population of people. So there's a couple of spots in every area that you get to know where people like to sit and farm. So I'm going to go to the second landmark, which is then this pyramid over here, and I will get the XP. So there we go. Visit the pyramid, and I got 10 XP for that. I'm not sure if it's a setting that you can set up in your options menu, but I have my middle mouse button set up to auto run. So right now I'm only using my mouse. I'm not using my keyboard at all to run, which is quite nice because there's quite a distance that you have to run to get to the different landmarks. So you can see that there are many different buildings, many different like pots in the ground, and there are cacti and so forth. So those are things that if you own a plot or have permissions to build on a plot, you can then build. So you can manipulate the ground to go up and down. You can manipulate the water to go where you want the water to go. And there are a lot of different options that you have to build things. So you can see there's a lot of interesting stuff that people build. It's up to creativity on what they want to do and what they want to achieve. So some people just don't really want to do anything, which is perfectly fine. It's easier to get your crystals to harvest. And sometimes people are kind enough to actually write something. So for instance, jade here. So we know that one of the resources, jade, which is one of the higher level resources, can be found here. And the higher the level of your companion or vulcanite, the higher the chances of you to extract that particular higher level material. And that doesn't mean that the lower level companions won't get higher level materials. It's 100% possible. It's just not as likely or not as plausible all the time. The great thing is there's an awesome community on the Discord, lots of channels that you can ask a lot of questions. There's also a classroom channel where you can ask questions, newbie questions, and there are very friendly people to help you, and the community is extremely helpful. So that is really, really awesome. Okay, my companion's taking quite a long time. Sometimes it feels like it's a bug. I'm not sure if it's a bug. When it takes a bit too long, I would just run a little bit more. So this is a waterfall that a lot of people will say in chat, where they will find you at the waterfall or at the shrine. So that's a shrine. And here in the desert, so there we go, I've finished. You can quickly see if there's a person that's willing to fight. So just make sure that you cross this line to get the shrine. I sometimes miss this landmark by not going over this particular line. So to fight is to use this attack. It's number 1. So what you need to do is you select and you press 1. Let's see if this person's going to want to fight. There we go. We're in a fight now. And there's the health bar. So I'm going to lose because this character is very, very strong. So once you have been downed, you press number 4 to rest. So this will be a habit that you always go into. You fight and you rest. So when you rest, you get your health back up. This person has got another companion or vulcanite to fight. So I'm going to send another fight request. There we go. Now we're going to fight there again. And it's quite clear that I'm going to lose this one as well. So this was going to happen quite a bit until you get a... Oh, I actually won. That was quite a close clutch. So there we go. I won that fight, which is awesome. I can rest up. And now we can maybe talk about the chat. So general chat is the whole map. So general chat will go everywhere. If I go into the region, it will only be for the particular region that I'm at. I'm just going to thank the person. Sometimes we just jump to say thank you. Sometimes people like jumping and all of that. Okay, so this is what's going to happen when someone wants to fight with you and you have 15 seconds to accept. I took a bit too long to accept because they probably chose two of us. So it's possible for me to go and select two different people, and whoever clicks first, we will fight. So we're fighting this Medusa over here. I went down, so you can press the number 4, or you can click over there to rest. And for people that have more than one companion or Vulcanite, it's good nature to bring out the weakest one for you to fight, because it's to make sure that both people win. So there is this wording that we use, trade win. So that means that we want to trade a win. So here we're technically trading a win where he's going to lose because that is a weaker companion to mine. I won the fight and I get extra XP. So there's a bonus XP if you win 10 fights in a day. So I've got 2 out of my 10 fights. Just want to thank them. And then I know that this is a high level mining plot. So I'm going to just quickly mine there. And I'm going to go through this interesting cavern. You can see that they're starting to work a bit more on the lighting aspects when you go into caves. It's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be more caves in the future. Recently, they've also released a fishing function where you can also fish for fish, and you can get NFTs by fishing eventually. And you also get a lot of XP for doing that. All right, so now you can see that we're reaching the end. So I'm here going from Notice over to Arcadia. And you can see that the lines are starting to make like that. So it's important to first wait, if you're still mining, to first finish your mine, because as soon as you cross over, you lose that mining that you were busy with, and you lose all of the materials that you were busy with. So you can either just run over if you're pressed for time. If it's important for you to make sure, and you can see the red means I can't mine because I'm busy mining or fighting. So there we go. I finished. I'm going to run over, and somewhere over here, I'm going to switch over into the next area. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and listening to all my babbling. I hope that you learned something, and this helps you get involved in the game. I've already showed you most of the game in its current state, and all of that XP has already accumulated some lava for me, which can be converted into real life currencies. And you don't really have to watch much further. There's not really going to be much difference in the activities of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go through the route. So just watch on if you'd like to see what route you need to go and follow to make sure that you get all of the different landmarks. So you can see this area is very different to the desert. It's green. It's more like a foresty type of biome. We've got people that have built some interesting homes with water. And there's another thing you can also do, that if you really like this person's plot, you can appreciate their land. And that doesn't cost you anything, and it gives them a fraction of a lava. So it gives them a little bit of in-game currency. So if you want to be kind, you can always go and appreciate. So here's the first landmark for me in this particular run. We're going to head off to go off to the right, to go here to the woodlands of Ambrosia, which is that building over there. So yes, at this moment of development, it's quite a bit of running that you need to do to get all your XP in. Quite a lot of standing once you've gotten your XP. So here I finished mining, I'm going to get some more. And there I've completed one of the missions. I'm just going to stop here, press J. So let's see which one I finished. Okay, so I finished this 1000 damage. So I can complete it and I can go to the next one and accept it. So here it needs me to go and visit all of the locations. So this is going to be more tomorrow's quest I'll be doing, but I'm just accepting it so long. Completing that in 5 plots. Completing it, let's see what the next one is. Take 2500 damage. Let's see, okay, so here I still have to go and visit all of those places. All right. So we have to go to that landmark over there. And it is called the Druid's Shrine. I like running through this part, just it's a little bit interesting. It's got all these weird dummies, almost like these people watching me, almost as if they're like cheering me on in my run. And then this person was quite mean to build almost like a type of maze to run through. You can get stuck. So there are some places you can get stuck. It can be quite hard to get out of those particular plots, so I like to avoid it as much as possible. And you can see this area, so it's literally when you pass this line. So if I pass this line here, or on this side over here, it's still part of this landmark and I'll get the XP. So here's a random person, so I can talk and ask that person if they want to fight. There's also a whisper function where you can type in the person's nickname, so the name over there, and you can whisper chat to them. This trade is a trade channel which can also be seen throughout the whole map, and that's normally when people would advertise that they have some materials for sale or they want to trade with someone at VC. VC is the Vulcan city, which is this little part over here. Okay, this person is probably AFKing at the moment, so I'm just going to keep on running. So press for time and start mining that crystal over there. All right, the next part that we need to run to is this summer palace. So you can see over here there's some water and almost like a dam, which is just going to be here to our right. People have many different ways of running, so there's no right way. I'm sure there's a super optimized way to run, which I'm definitely not doing. I'm just doing, which is kind of like a muscle memory that I got used to when I learned this particular route. You can see this is a cool little character that the person built, so people are very creative and can make some very interesting statues or landmarks themselves. Okay, so here is the next landmark over here. As soon as I cross this line, I'll get the XP. And then there's one more landmark to go in this area, and I haven't had a fight yet. There's 2 areas I know of where there's a lot of people. The one is up there, and the other one is close to the exit. Okay, so this is maybe a very good time to talk about the entrances and exits for Boreas. So from this side up until Vulcan City, there's no entrances that I'm aware of. to get through. You have to, if you come from Hades, go through Vulcan City to get into Boreas. From this side, there are three entrances. You can see at the top there are three like gates. They almost look like gates. At the bottom of the gate, there's a type of portal that you can walk through. Sorry, I'm just lagging a bit here. I'm not sure if it's my laptop or if it's my line. I'm here in South Africa, so our internet is not necessarily the best to the servers. We've got quite a bit of ping. But in any case, so there are three different areas where you can go, and at the bottom there's a portal. You can also go to, there's Vulcan City, and there are stairs that go up on every single side of the map. But the quickest way from here to get to the other side is to go to the portal. And this portal is, the middle portal is close to this landmark, which is the last landmark we need to go to. And it's also quite close to an area where there are normally a lot of people that we can fight. So I'm actually quite a rude person. Normally in the region chat, you would ask people to trade fights, ask if someone is available to fight, and they'll give you a particular area to go to. So let's see. Okay, my Vulcanite's busy. Whilst my Vulcanite's busy, this is maybe a good time to talk about these numbers. So that is the plot number. So it's 1910, 1911, and so it will go on. And if I go down, it'll go 2010. So it's not, all the blocks aren't necessarily exactly from 1 to 1,000 and going down 1 to 1,000, but it's very similar. But at least you know that this will be 19, this will be 20. This will be 21. There we go, 21. So people might say that I'll meet you at 2009, then you know that this is the plot that they're talking about. Okay, I'm just going to see if Placebo wants to fight. And at the moment, it looks like there's not a lot of players. So our lava share for the XP that we get is going to be much higher than the times where there's a lot of people playing. So it is Monday evening. I'm in UCT +2, and it's now 9 o'clock in my region. So there's not a lot of players. FOMO Fudster is the person that helped me get on my feet in this game. So they will probably give me a fight. Thank you so much, FOMO. Nice to see you. Just waiting for them to finish, and then they'll quickly do a fight for me. So let's just quickly wait for them to finish. So normally there would be, in this particular area, at least 7 to 10 people or so. So what happens is you would normally go and do this run, get all your fights and stuff, and you would go into an area, and then people would probably spend their whole day to get XP, because they can actually make some money if you spend the whole day doing it. Okay, it just seems like they're taking quite a while. I'm not well versed enough to know if there's a specific time that it takes, or if it's randomized, or in between a specific time, or whatever the case might be. There we go. Okay, so they're finished. They're really gonna fight. FOMO's Vulcanites are quite strong, so I'll quickly. This fairy is going to be a 50-50 fight. I just quickly initiated the fight on my side. Fairy makes a lot of noise, but I won. Just going to say thank you to FOMO. And then let's head off. Okay, so the portal is going to be through this beautiful garden that Owlbear X made. And there is the portal. So that portal's going to take us up there where the gate is. Okay, now we're going to go into the snowy area. There's a reason why I like taking the portal and gate, because now we're going to be quite close to the next landmark that we need to get. Okay, so I like to start up in this area to really start foraging. I'm not sure how to pronounce the word, but here's our first landmark. So Drinks has this very interesting ramp, which I like to jump over, and then all these trees. So be careful for trees. I kind of like to get stuck in them. I've got some weird boxes. There we go, but at least I've got this layer of the Cyclops. Then what I tend to do, you kind of have a nice straight line over here. So there's the next landmark, which is called the Fortress of the Wind. So I like to run down this straight mark over here. And I can see that I've completed this bleed for the dead. So whilst I'm running, I'm going to multitask. So this is like next level stuff. Multitasking whilst running. Bleed for the dead, complete it. Fly that flag is the next quest over there. And what's nice about this is you're also able to multitask. So if you have two screens, you can just move your mouse over to the other screen, watch Netflix, do some work, whatever the case might be. It's very easy to do it. You don't need to press your Windows key if you're in Windows or anything like that. You just automatically move over. That's actually quite nice. Okay, so there I've got the XP for this landmark. Got a bit of lag in this area. So there I've completed my 10 harvesting for today. So I've got my extra XP. Start harvesting that one over there. Okay, so now we're going to go to the infamous Harpy's Nest, which is that landmark over there. It's infamous because there's a specific plot that has a very specific material that's needed. If I remember correctly, it's that halotite. So that used to be extremely popular, but because we've started to realize there's more plots closer, it's got other types of materials needed. These plots in this particular area over here tend to be high population right now. It really seems that there's not a lot of people playing, which is good for lava distribution. So this plot over here is the one that has that halotite, if I remember correctly, if that's the one, but it's got a very rare, and there's not a lot of plots that are known. We don't know what every single plot in the game has because we haven't mapped every single one yet. I think we still have to kind of map everything out. But those that we do know, this is one of the ones that people like to harvest as soon as my companion decides to finish getting the materials needed. Oh, I don't know if I've got, there we go, Harpy's Nest. So I almost ran away without going past this line. So it's a mistake that even I make quite often. So just make sure to run over to that particular area. Even this part over here will give you that XP. Because there isn't a lot of people here, normally in this area you would have about 10 or so people in these 4 blocks, 6 blocks. In fact, I actually am a little bit time constrained, so I just might skip the fights on this side. But it's good practice to get all of the fights in for every single quadrant for that extra XP. If I remember correctly, it's 25 XP that you get, which is quite nice. And that's our last landmark for this area. This person has some nice jumping obstacles to get through, otherwise you get stuck. And I know that Grim Reaper, the person that we ran past just now, has a nice piece of land here that also has jade. Just before this landmark, there's normally some people there as well. Maybe one of them will be kind enough to fight with us. Whilst we wait, we can see Explore the World has completed. Where is Explore? This one. Okay, so the Harpy's Nest, we've done that one. So it was a daily quest. And this gold you can also use for fishing. So that's why that's important to have. Let's just see if someone over here is gonna fight with us. Vulcan's still busy, so you can't fight with someone whilst they're busy mining. See, this person's running, so I'm able to select the person far away, but they're busy, so I can't. Sometimes we can get people's attention by jumping, so it looks like Prospero might want to fight. I'm not even sure how to crouch like they're crouching. Oh, there we go, so it's control. See, you learn things every day. So I can see this is Grim Reaper's property. I can appreciate his land. So just waiting for the mining to finish. So if you want to get all your XP, you can see there's quite a bit of waiting that takes place, particularly when you're at a time when there's not a lot of people online. Over weekends, it's definitely a lot. Okay, here we go. We can fight. So it's, oh, he's changing. Accept. Let's go fight it out. Looks like my fox has a nice little lead. And there we go. Won the fight. Brilliant. So thank you. Do they have any need to have a win? So then they'll take out a stronger. There we go. So then they're going to get a win. So this is called trade win. So we're going to say thank you. Whilst I'm healing, I can just start running off because now I want to get into the city. Whereas a lot of people will say VC, the Vulcan city. This building over here. Okay, so it's all rested up. My fox is ready to quickly harvest. Let's quickly get one more harvest in before we get into the city. So there's an entrance. There's 2 entrances for every single area you can get into. I think in every area. But in this area, definitely there's that side over there, this side over here. That's just like a gate. You can move into any of these entrances. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for my harvesting to finish because as soon as I cross that line in the middle, I'm going to move into the other area. So I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds. You can also see visually there's a big change if I just move my mouse over. I'm also wondering if that isn't maybe just a visual bug, if it's supposed to do that, create this heavy mist because it's not that misty. In any case, I'm just going to wait here for a couple of seconds. So normally if people, especially this particular gate, which is the Boreas Hades Gate to move in from this side to that side. So this area over here is quite a popular area to do trading with other players to get that extra XP. Sometimes people will say VC stairs. Now, this part over here has some stairs. Maybe let's just quickly run there. I'll show you where VC stairs is. Then you also know where to meet people when people say VC stairs. Okay, let's go into the city. So the city doesn't have a lot going on in it at the moment. I'm sure it's mostly placeholders for now. There is a lava bank, which I can't really comment on using because I haven't used it, so I can't quite comment on it. But there is a functionality where you can almost stake your lava to get more lava. That's the principle how I understand it. So I apologize if that understanding is incorrect. But yes, there is a lava bank. Okay, but we're going to run to VC stairs. And to use the bank, you also need to have an NFT, which is a ledger, in order to use it. So I'm not able to use the bank, so that's also why I can't really comment on it. So these are the VC stairs. So if people ever say VC stairs they want to trade, then this is the area to go. For time constraints, because there's not a lot of people, and I can see there's not a lot of people asking to trade, we're going to wait quite a while, and you can't mine anything or forage anything here in VC City, unfortunately, so it's wasted time if you don't trade immediately. So that's the gate we just came through. And that gate over there takes us to the Underworld of Hades, which is the last area we need to go to complete our landmark run. So in this game, at this stage, there isn't any fall damage. So you don't have to worry about your character dying of anything in any way. So you can't die at this stage. A little cheat, if you will, a little hack, which isn't against the terms and conditions, by the way. So there's a whole road and stairs that you need to go down, but it takes quite a while. So let's just jump off, skip that whole part of walking, and here we are in Hades. Let's see if this person maybe just quickly wants to fight us. Okay, might be a bit AFK at the moment. I'm just first going to run to where people are to fight first. So here's one of the places that people like to mine quite a bit. And then just a little bit down here is the most popular place in Hades, but I'm aware of. And quite possibly, at the moment, in this particular meta, the most popular place to mine. So this is what it would normally look like at all of the different places that we spoke about. So I'm going to press 2 to remove all of the crystals because I don't want to accidentally mine. And I'm just going to be very impolite and just spam every single person to fight. And they have a choice to accept. If they want to, they can decline. There's even an auto decline function in the options menu. So then some of them that just want to harvest, mine, they will auto decline all of these invitations. So I'm just doing this because there's a couple of people that are AFK. And when they look at the screen, I'm hoping that they will get a message that I want to fight. I'm just going to do this for a couple of seconds. I'm a little bit time constrained, so I'm not going to wait too long. But there we go. Someone accepted it. One shot at me. Beautiful. Very kind to take out their pet, which is the same level as my pet. So it's almost like a 50-50. If they haven't upgraded, because my pet's fully upgraded, or my companion's fully upgraded, I will win if they haven't put in any XP to upgrade their fighting and defense. It looks like I might win. There we go. And then I also get extra XP, 20, for fighting in each quadrant. So I'm just going to thank the person. And we'll put post number 2. Start harvesting here because it's got high level materials. I'm going to go to the first landmark in this area, which is called Palace of the Dead. And very close to Palace of the Dead is the Necropolis. Thanks for this person for all of these lovely beds and obstacles to jump over. Okay, thirst for blood I completed, so I'm just going to quickly, there we go, that one over there. I can accept, so I already have mine, so this is a material to mine thread. I already have that, so I can click it as completed. And then this one is defeat, so that means I need to lose in 5 fights. I've also completed the riddles one, which is visiting those different places. And there we go. So you can see that this map the world is to visit all these locations, which is the same as the sightseeing one, which is to visit all the locations, which is what I'm going to do that tomorrow. You can do everything in one day if you want to. I like to do it over 2 or 3 days. Okay, so here's the necropole. There we go. So I also get 20 XP for foraging or mining in every single quadrant. Mine that over there. And then there's only one more landmark to go, and that's that mountain / volcano over there, which is called the Plains of Howling Darkness. So there's like a lava river that you have to cross. It's got these cool skulls and bones in it. And what sometimes also happens is that when you try and mine or forage a crystal, it might tell you that the vulcanite is stronger than yours if you're starting off. Because some people might have their vulcanite as defending on their particular plot, which then stops players from mining on that particular plot. I'm sure it's going to be some type of gameplay that's going to come out in the future. Right now, it doesn't mean anything except for just stopping you from actually mining that particular land. As you can see, there's some people who've created some nice obstacles. And there we go. So that is what is called a landmark run. So depending on where you are, where you start, your route might look different than mine. Maybe yours will go the other way around. Maybe you'll start at one place and do like a zigzag. I was just very fortunate that the plot that I started on was quite close to the pyramid, so it's almost like a smooth type of run. And if you wanted to trade, just as a side note, you click on the player, you press 5 to trade. Then you can just trade any of your materials that you've harvested. I have a lot of different types of materials that I've harvested. I've played a couple of months. So you would normally just trade. So obviously the color and the background will indicate higher level materials, so you don't really want to trade any of the blues, the greens, the purples. Just to be safe, trade something like clay or wood or coal or soil or something like that, which is a low level material and it's quite easy to get. These other ones are much harder to get, are worth a lot more. You can actually sell it for lava if you wish. And I'm sure in the future there'll be more utility for them as well. Spy, I haven't used spy at all, but you can spy on plots. I'm not quite sure if that's an implemented function. And if you are a landowner, you're also able to use a building function. You're able to build on your particular land, as I mentioned earlier, where you can use the water and you can build um, all of these walls and doors and everything else that you have available to you. That is the basics. I haven't covered fishing. I haven't done fishing myself yet, but this is the landmark run. Now you should be able to get into the routine of playing the game, knowing which buttons to press, and you're going to be using the number 2, the number 1, and number 4 a lot. Those are probably the main functions at the moment. You can also chat with people, and some people that really like to farm XP would play Berserk on another screen whilst they're running and getting XP. So that's like the fastest way currently is to play another game and then to farm. So thank you so much if you've watched this far in the video. I hope that this was useful. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. Um, there's a lot of people on the Discord that you can chat to. If you'd like to chat to me, I'm a solo player on the Discord. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to do a video about in the game, to go into a specific function. I would be more than happy to do so. So thank you so much. Bye bye.